Hi, Gay DeRusso with the Majestic rider. Here today on Cayenne. He's the Icelandic single-footer cross, and we've already warmed up at our flat walk. We did the poles, we did our leg yield, shoulder in, our back up, and turn on the forehand. So always make sure you warm your horse up well, and if you can, get all those things done, because it definitely helps you to get the gait. He's young, and I also lunged him a little bit before I got on today. He wasn't as energetic as yesterday, so I didn't have to do it as long. And so I'm going to be tapping him more because he's just a little lazier today, and he can be lazy. So this guy gets a little heavy on his forehand, which is his front end. So I'm always trying to make sure that he's driving with his back end and not getting too much weight on his front end, because he can get a little trippy at times, but he's so much better now that we've trimmed his toes shorter and working over the poles. So I'm going to go to a saddle gait. So what I'm going to do is sit up nice and tall, squeeze with both legs. If he doesn't go forward and into the saddle gait, I'm then going to tap with my stick. So you can see he's being quite lazy today. Now, he didn't go right into it like he usually does. He got a little trotty there. So with him, he was trotty, then he got pacey, and even this is a little step pacey, but we're going to fix it. So sometimes it takes, I just gave him a break so I could put the camera on, but it takes a circle or two to kind of get them back where you just were when you warmed up. So what I'm going to try to do is bend him a little bit more. With him, with like his head a little bit neutral, down too far is going to make him heavy on his front end, and will also make him trotty. So at this point, we can't bring it down too low. So that's a little bit smoother. So we've been doing a saddle gait for about 5 minutes, and if I wasn't working on the canter, I would start doing it longer. But it also depends on how much energy your horse has that day. So if it's a lot of energy, do it longer. If it doesn't have that much energy and you're really working your butt off trying to get that horse to move, we'll do it less. Just get it good and then just quit. So that shoulder in, which I have a video on, and the leg yield really do help to separate their legs, and it will help if your horse is trotty or if it is pacey. See, right now he's not turning. So I just hit him in the shoulder when I swapped that stick over. That's just a young horse thing, like, I don't want to do this today, Gaye. You worked pretty hard yesterday. And I'm like, yeah, that's okay. You just got to do it anyhow. They're just like children. So, again, we won't do it super long because we want to work on the canter, and I don't know how well that's going to go since I see his energy is low today. That's just how training goes. Some days are great and some days are horrible and some days are in between till you get past those steps. So there he started drifting again. If your horse is drifting, put your stick in that outside hand. If you can, if you're balanced, know how to ride, it's good to have a dressage whip and spur, so if the horse starts messing with you or won't move or won't go or it's drifting, you have something to back it up. They're very strong and they know we're not that strong. So at times you'll see there's a little more emotion in the saddle than others. And again, with this footing, he's not as smooth. He's much smoother out on the gravel or out on the road. All right. So he's doing the gait correctly. It's just there's a lot of wiggle in here right now, but that's okay. So I'm going to stop. See how quickly he stopped? Because he was waiting to stop the whole time. I'm going to do our turn on the haunches. I have videos on this. You just search turn on the haunches. And then we're going to go this direction. So I'm going to walk once around just to give him a breather, and then we're going to go back to work. Now, as I just started working, he started leaning on the bit, like, Gaye, you carry my head. It's really heavy. I don't want to carry it anymore. So I'm going to lift it up a little bit and then release. Lift it up, then release. Don't carry their head. It's their body. Have them carry it. Because, again, you're going to get worn out. Your shoulders are going to hurt. Your back's going to hurt. And if they trip, you can't hold them up. You can help them, but they got to learn how to get back on their back end. And that's just a normal young horse thing. All right, so let's add leg, both legs. No response, so tap. So don't wait too long to get that response. He just kind of falls asleep. That's what's good and that's what's bad about him. He's mellow. He doesn't care about much. So when I ask him to go, he doesn't care about much. And some of them have a little bit thicker skin than other horses. It urges more sensitivity. So all I'm doing is trying to go to round, get him to bend, get the gait somewhat decent in here, and then, because he's cutting in, get some leg separation. So that's why working your gait in a circle is helpful. There he got Trotty, so when they trotty, you see me just lean back and pick his head up. That's what you do. A lot of these ones that are trotty, you can keep going once they fall into the trot. You just get their head up, sit back, get them back in their gait. The Pacey ones, you usually have to stop and back them up to get them out of it. So you can just tell, like, I don't want to work him hours today because he doesn't have enough energy. It's going to be way too much work. He's just waiting to stop. So if it gets too much wiggle motion, I half halt, but I squeeze with my legs at the same time. With him, sometimes I really do have to use those spurs. My spurs are kind of worn out, so they're pretty dull. But I have to tell him, like, hey, pay attention. So what just happened, and somebody calls you, it shuts your video off. So make sure you go and check it. And that's why it's good to have a headset on, because you can hear if somebody's calling. All right, so back to the saddle gait. We're almost done with it. So again, some days he's great at this, and some days he's not. That's just being young. That's normal. Good days, bad days. Good days, bad days. Then someday it'll be mostly good days, but in the beginning, it's mostly bad days. So this isn't fast or anything, but it's pretty smooth, and it's pretty good for in here. Good boy. Okay. So when I canter to the left, I believe, I can remember, isn't as good to the right. So what are we going to do? Because we just started teaching him to canter. He can canter when he's loose. He can canter pretty decent on the lunge line. He wouldn't do it very well today because he doesn't want to do it. And that's normal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a pole to help me. I taught him the word canter, but if he listens today, he listens. He might not. Yesterday, I was able to get a whole circle out of him at the canter, and that's because he's pretty well balanced. He's athletic. He has some trot in him. So that all helps with getting the canter. So all I got to do is get the motion, and then he can do it if he will keep going is the problem. So we just got to see what he gives us today. And so hopefully I'll remember. But if my first circle is good, that's all I'm going to do. And then I'm going to go the other way. Because if I push it and try to get like 3 good circles, I can tell with him, I'm not going to get it. And then he might get trippy or just too lazy or something. So again, when you're practicing, if you start off and you're like, oh my God, that was phenomenal. What the best canter steps I've ever had, you quit. That was it. That's the best you're going to get that day. Work on something else instead. So here we go. We're going to try and wake Cayenne back up. Again, I'm walking with a little speed. And see if we can get it. So I'm going to try and get it from a little saddle gait. Canter. So that wasn't very good. So we'll try it again. Now, I got the canter, but the wrong lead, so I'm going to try over here, canter. hardest part with some of these gaited horses is stopping once you're cantering, because when you can feel that they're getting on their front end and they got a little pace, when you come down from the canter, they can trip and fall on their face. So you really got to sit back. So he started off not so good. Good job, buddy. And then he just cantered all around those poles. Yesterday we just cantered a small circle, and that's all we got. So that was quite good. So I'm going to give him a break for a minute. Then we're going to try the other direction. And what I'm doing when I ask for the canter, when I get close to the pole, I'm half halting, shift my weight to the outside, and I use my outside leg. So when you go to the left, that means you squeeze and relax on both reins, shift your weight to the right, dig with your right leg, don't kick them, dig with your right leg. If they don't go, keep your leg on them and tap them with the stick until you get the canter. And if they don't canter, you're just gaiting or trotting or whatever you're doing, just shut them down. Slow them back down. If they're trotty, you can go back to the saddle gait. If they're pacey, go back to a walk. Because the saddle gait is lateral, and usually the lateral horses, the pacey ones, can't get it from that until they're much, much better. So pacey horses try to get the canter from the walk. If they're trotty, you can usually get it from the saddle gait or the fox trot. You can try to get it from the walk, but sometimes it's easier when you go faster. All right, so now we're going to try and go this other way. So we're going to the right, so that means he's going to pick up his right lead if we do it correctly, which means I'm going to half halt with both reins. He's getting heavy on his front end already just walking. So we're going to half halt with both reins, and then we're going to shift our weight to the left and ask with our left leg. So I'm going to aim for the pole down here and see how it goes. Canter. Canter. Finally got it. Oh, sit way back. So did you see over the pole? We almost tripped and fell on our face. That's normal. And that's why it's scary. And that's why when you get it, you just do it once if they're not paying attention. So yesterday, he tripped once the entire time, and it wasn't bad at all. But so today, he's lazy, he's tired. Don't risk your life trying to get this. They'll get better. He's just young, so he needs some days off, and then he'll be good again. So that was quite good for Cayenne. He did great, so we're going to quit on that. And he tried as hard as he could. Good job. So when I'm trying to teach something, and it's something hard for him, so that's just the second time I've gotten a real canter from him. Before that, it was just steps. I get off, reward them with rest and scratches, and immediately loosen their girth. So you make it a good thing for him. And then each day, you just ask for more and more. But again, with your young horse, you got to see, sometimes they're going through a growing spurt. Sometimes their joints hurt. Sometimes they're just tired. And so you just got to give them rest here and there and work on different things if they can't do it for a while, and then go back. Because sometimes they're going through a growing spurt, and once they get through that spurt, you're like, wow, he can canter now. Sometimes they can't. But you just check. All right, so remember to like and subscribe, and I hope that helps you if you have a horse that's trotty and pacey and can do a saddle gait and you're trying to work on that canter.